In Peru, police repression left at least 11 people injured during a day of anti-government demonstrations in the framework of the third takeover of Lima. In Spain, the last televised debate was held ahead of Sunday's general elections without the presence of the Popular Party candidate. And in Iraq, the government threatened to break diplomatic relations with Sweden if another copy of the Quran was burned. This after the European nation authorized the burning of the holy book in its territory. Hello, welcome to From the South. I'm Luis Alberto Matos from the TeleSUR studios in Havana, Cuba. We begin with the news. In Peru, police repression left at least 11 people injured during a day of demonstrations in the framework of the third takeover of Lima. Mobilizations continue after the call for the third takeover of Lima that gathered different communities from the north and south of the country to protest against Dina Boluarte and the Congress of the Republic. About 3,000 people gathered in the Plaza de Armas of Huancavelica, where members of the National Police threw tear gas bombs to repress the demonstrations. For their part, the representatives of indigenous peoples assured they would not stop the mobilizations so that the voice of the people is heard. In Argentina, citizens held a vigil in the Libertador General San Martin city province of Jujuy to commemorate the disappearance of 400 people under the civil-military dictatorship in July 1976. Between July 20th and the 27th, flower cuts ordered by the Ledesma company facilitated the operations of the repressors that left 400 people detained, 33 of whom are still missing. The night of the blackout was one of the most serious and emblematic chapters that constituted the civil corporate responsibility during the Argentine dictatorship. It is expected that on Thursday the commemorative activities will continue in the midst of the protests against the constitutional reform of Gerardo Morales. Social and human rights organizations, together with trade union centers, are carrying out different demonstrations 47 years after this incident, at a time of strong repressive actions by local authorities.
This year is 47 years since the military coup and 47 years since the night of the blackout, and 40 marches where the mothers began to walk around this square when the military was still in front of the town hall. So it is symbolic to be here. And today we were able to hold a workshop which has the name Gender Women Memory of Repression, considering what is happening today in our province, where we have persecuted comrades arrested, wounded, and teachers who have been fighting for 46 days. So, well, a symbol is to be here.
The president of Nicaragua, Daniel Ortega, highlighted the heroic deeds of the Nicaraguan people on the 44th anniversary of the Sandinista revolution. During his speech, Ortega justified the decision not to sign the final declaration of the summit held between the European Union and CELAC. Ortega shared his reflection before a crowd gathered at the Plaza La Fe. Government delegations from countries such as Cuba, Russia, Iran, Palestine, as well as representations from China and other nations from Asia, Europe, Africa, and Central America participated in the activities. During his speech, the president emphasized that with the triumph of the Sandinista Popular Revolution in Nicaragua on July 19, 1979, came the end of 45 years of exploitation by the Somoza military dictatorship.
He found our country, our people in arms. This was a people in arms. The heart, the soul, the conscience in arms. We want peace. We fought against the tyranny imposed by the Yankees because we wanted peace. We wanted our people to free themselves from the extreme poverty of illiteracy, and we had to fight against the governor imposed by the Yankees here in Nicaragua because Somoza was nothing more than a governor imposed by the Yankees after the fulfilled the mission of assassinating Sandino, and the Yankees armed him, financed him, and he was a brother of the Yankees.
In turn, President Daniel Ortega stated that despite the ongoing European siege against Nicaragua, the country attended the CELAC-EU summit to maintain diplomatic and bi-regional ties.
It was a meeting in which Nicaragua logically, independently that the European Union, the European Parliament speaks barbarities against us, asks for more sanctions against Nicaragua, and from the European Union voices are also coming out They are violently against Nicaragua, also against Venezuela, even talking about preventing the arrival of President Nicolas Maduro to the meeting under the threat that they were going to put him in jail. So we went to the meeting logically because we are not for cutting communication with countries with which we don't share their policies, in which they don't respect the international laws, and in which they commit abominable crimes, but we want them to respect us.
The Nicaraguan president ratified that his country neither signed nor supported the final declaration of the CELAC EU summit.
We are going to write to our brother Ralph Gonsalves because he, as coordinator, simply could not accept that. There was an agreement when they themselves later came out saying that Nicaragua had not signed, had not accepted. Even as they are saying that there was an agreement, we rushed to issue a press release to announce that it had neither signed nor supported nor accepted. Therefore, what they were saying was not valid.
On July 19th, Mexico observed the 100th death anniversary of revolution hero Francisco Pancho Villa. Thousands of men on horseback paraded through the city of Hidalgo del Parral, in the southern part of the northern state of Chihuahua, where Pancho Villa was assassinated a century ago. He was ambushed and shot 16 times on his way to a family celebration. By the time he had already retired from political life. The Mexican Revolution spanned from 1910 to 1917. Villa, whose real name was Jose Doroteo Arango Arambola, was one of its celebrated heroes along with Emiliano Zapata. The horse riding parade tradition began 26 years ago and it starts from the city of Juarez, 6,000 kilometers from Hidalgo del Parral.
He is a hero here in Mexico because no one else had managed to stop the Americans and the world, only him, Pancho Villa. This is an important day year after year. There are more admirers of General Francisco Villa. There are horse riders here, and you can see that he is more alive than ever because there are these people, including children, who admire General Villa. They remember him every day, even the children, and that's what makes me most happy.
Let's take a short break, but remember you can join us on TikTok at TeleSUR English, where you will find news in different formats, news updates, and much more. Other stories coming up. Stay with us. Welcome back from the South. On Wednesday, three of the four main leaders held the last televised debate in Spain ahead of Sunday's general elections. Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez, the leader of the ruling Sumar party, Yolanda Díaz, and the head of the opposition Vox party, Santiago Pascal, took part in the electoral debate. Gender policies cover a large part of the 90 minutes of the discussion, in which topics such as labor reform, pensions, social rights, and even climate change were also discussed. In her speech, Yolanda Díaz advocated for the reduction of the working day and improvements in wages. She also added that Sumar is the guarantee for a better government with more rights. In the run-up to the Spanish early elections on Sunday, July 23rd, citizens expressed their opinion about it.
I'm going to vote basically because we have to stop the right wing, and it is the same here in Spain. In case you want to understand it over there as well. I'm very interested in politics but not in the debates because I don't think they are as I would like them to be. It is to put things of those who really speak and worry us people in the elections. I'm not going to vote because I don't believe anything they are going to tell me. I know that the great majority of the proposals they made then change them to their liking and in their own way, and I don't feel like giving my vote to someone who is not going to do what they first say and then don't do it. So I prefer not to vote sincerely. Besides, I think that the new parties of today have already seen of deceiving people, and the new parties that exist don't convince me either. So I prefer not to vote sincerely.
The Russian Foreign Ministry denounced the European Union's attempt to alienate Russia from Latin America at the EU CELAC summit in Brussels. Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova denounced the European Union's position in planting the seed of discord between Latin America and Russia. Zakharova said Europe took advantage of that meeting with Latin America not to discuss ways of solving the Ukraine crisis, but to impose the Western points of view and to force Latin America to accept it. The diplomat said Russia and Latin American countries are united by old traditions of friendship and diplomatic relations and mutually beneficial cooperation. On Thursday, Russia and China are carrying out joint military exercises in the Sea of Japan in a context of high tensions with Western countries. According to the Russian Ministry of Defense, the main objective of the exercise is to strengthen naval cooperation between the Russian Federation and the People's Republic of China to maintain stability and peace in the Asia-Pacific region. The exercises include anti-submarine naval combat, maritime escort, and detachment protection missions. More than 30 naval aviation aircraft from both sides are participating in the exercise, which will end on Sunday. In March, President Xi Jinping and his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin expressed their willingness to conduct regular joint patrols in order to deepen mutual trust. On Thursday, local media in the state of Arizona warned that the current heat wave poses a lethal threat to the homeless, as the temperatures have been well above 43 degrees Celsius for at least 20 days. As Phoenix continues to break heat records, the number of heat-related deaths is rising. On Wednesday, the Maricopa County Public Health Department announced that 18 deaths from extreme heat have been confirmed so far this year. Phoenix also broke the record for the warmest low ever recorded on any date at 36 degrees and marked the 10th consecutive morning with lows above the 30s. Local authorities suggest wearing a wet towel or a shirt around the neck when outdoors during the day. Although there are also more than 200 cooling stations in the air, homeless continue to be targeted by the high temperatures.
Now, when the sun goes down and I'll walk up the street to the store, about 6 blocks up. There's no way I can walk to the store right now. I won't make it. It's too hot. It's not enough. I don't have enough water or whatever I need inside of me because I've been homeless, being neglected through my nutrients. To walk to the store means death. And who wants that? That shouldn't be an issue here in America. Decide whether you should walk to the store or stay in the shade because you're gonna die.
It's really brutal, man. Like, I mean, I'm telling you, I seen a bunch of people pass out not too long ago, like barely yesterday. I seen some guy sitting down eating, and he just collapsed from the chair and just fell and started getting a seizure or going in.
In India, a massive landslide in the village of Irshalwadi left at least 10 dead and dozens missing. According to information provided by the head of the Maharashtra government, Devendra Fadnavis, some 48 families were at the site. Around 75 people have been evacuated. The National Disaster Response Force is working at the site, which after initial difficulties due to rainfall and darkness, have been able to accelerate the work of removing the debris. The affected village consists of some 50 houses, 17 of which were buried by the landslide, which occurred in the middle of the night in the district of Raigad, which, like the rest of the region, suffered heavy rains in recent days. TeleSUR English launches some videos on demand site for you to go and revisit our interviews, top stories, special broadcastings, and more. Just go to the top left corner in our website homepage and click on the video option to access our VOD platform. Now we will take a final short break. Don't go away. Welcome back from the South. On Thursday, the Iraqi government threatened to break diplomatic relations with Sweden if another copy of the Quran was burned. The government issued a statement after an emergency meeting chaired by the Iraqi Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani, the Ministers of Foreign Affairs and Interior, as well as the heads of national security and the Army General Staff took part in the meeting. The government of Iraq also decided to expel the Swedish ambassador The rise in tensions comes after Sweden's reauthorization of the burning of copies of the Quran. The government suspended the working permit of Swedish telecom company Ericsson on Iraqi territory. Earlier on Thursday, a group of demonstrators set fire to the Swedish embassy in Baghdad. This is in the framework of their demonstrations in protest against the burning of copies of the Quran in the European country. According to reports on social media, the demonstrators entered the green zone of the Iraqi capital, the embassy sector, and threw torches inside the Swedish embassy. Meanwhile, the Iraqi Foreign Ministry condemned the events and requested that acts offensive to Islam and the Holy Quran be avoided. On Thursday, one Palestinian young man was killed, 3 others were injured, and dozens suffocated during a military incursion by Israeli forces in the eastern part of the occupied West Bank city of Nablus. Family, friends, and loved ones mourned the remains of 19-year-old Bader al-Masri, who died of bullet wounds. Local media report that the young man was the victim of an operation in which large forces of the occupation army stormed into the eastern area to secure the settlers' assault on Joseph's tomb shrine. Meanwhile, the director of the Red Crescent Emergency and Ambulance Center in Nablus, Ahmed Jibril, said that the occupation forces attacked with rubber-coated metal bullets the ambulance used to transfer the wounded. Pro-Palestinian supporters rallied in Washington to reject Israeli President Isaac Herzog's official visit to the United States. A group of pro-Palestinian demonstrators held a protest on a busy street near the United States Capitol to condemn the Israeli president's visit. With Palestinian flags and megaphones, the activists condemned the violations of human rights and international agreements by the Israeli state. The demonstration took place as President Herzog addressed the U.S. Congress, praising the ties between Washington and Tel Aviv.
Absolutely not. I think that the U.S. is in a unique position, giving $3.8 billion in military aid every year alone to the Israeli military, is best positioned to hold Israel accountable if it really sought to do so. But the U.S. seeks to be able to want to uphold a failed peace process, which has only ever been an illusion to maintain Zionist theft of Palestinian land and U.S. support for imperialism throughout the region.
Palestine. And so he's come here to build further relationships with the United States, to get more military aid, to get more support for the current project of burning down Palestinian villages, forcing Palestinians from their homes, bombing the Gaza Strip, attacking Palestinians in the 48 territories, and so on, as well as denying Palestinians like myself from returning to our home.
In New Zealand, authorities reported a shooting that left 2 people dead in the city of Auckland. The police department reported that the incident occurred at a construction site on one of the city's main streets. The police detailed that a man approximately 24 years old fired indiscriminately, killing 2 people and seriously wounding 6 others. The mayor of the city, Wayne Brown, expressed his condolences to the families of the victims and declared that this incident does not represent a threat to national security. We have come to the end of this news briefing. You can find these and many other stories on our website, telesurenglish.net. You can also join us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok. For TeleSUR English, I'm Luis Alberto Matos. Thank you for watching.